Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us and tuning in. I'm Aaron. This is Ray from Technology Profits Confidential, the premier source of tech stock analysis on the internet. Ray, very controversial question for you today. I want to unpack electric vehicle facts and lies. There's an idea out there, and I'll let you tell everybody if it's a fact or a lie. There's an idea out there that EVs are going to save the world. EVs are going to clean up the environment. The energy that they take to produce and the energy that they consume to keep them on the road is the solution that we need to combat climate change and deleterious effects on the environment from fossil fuels. And so I'll let you, I have a couple more facts and lies that I want to cover with you, but is an EV clean?
Not really. If you subscribe to the anthropogenic global warming thesis and think we have to go and reduce our carbon emissions to zero to change the world, the EV is not a silver bullet, unfortunately. There's significant emissions and environmental havoc related to the manufacture of electric vehicles. I read about a study just a few days ago that you don't actually get ahead of a traditional internal combustion engine vehicle. You're not actually doing better until you've driven that vehicle about 100,000 miles to make up for all the carbon emissions that go into the actual manufacture of the vehicle. And then on top of that, I mean, these vehicles don't pull their electricity from the thin air. They pull it off the power grid, and the power grid is not 100% green. Most of our electricity is still today made by carbon emitting sources, natural gas, coal, although coal share is falling, natural gas share is rising. It is cleaner than coal, and stuff like that. I mean, renewables like photovoltaics and wind power are growing, but they're not perfect in and of themselves. They'll require some kind of non-renewable help to be able to supply all of our energy needs, and we're going to need a massive amount of investment in the grid just to support a green electric fleet. Because if we were to go full electric, we'd need something on the order of double the amount of electricity supply to go ahead and power the fleet. I mean, cars use a lot of energy to move around. So the myth is, oh, I'm driving a green car, I'm saving the world. The fact is, it's not that black and white. I know it will get better over time, but making these electric cars is pretty dirty work, and powering them right now is pretty dirty too, at least until we fix the grid. I expect we'll refine the manufacture of electric vehicles, make it more sustainable, but we're not there at this point quite yet.
Factor line number two, you see this in the news occasionally, is that let's use autopilot type technology is buggy, dangerous. Occasionally you see there's some mishap on the road, and sensational news headlines about a car goes crazy and it caused an accident where someone was hurt. But the technology that the EV companies are using is road tested at this point for millions and millions of hours. If you kind of read beneath the headlines, sometimes you can tell that there was an extenuating circumstance, or there was something that was outside the control necessarily of the technology. So I don't. If you don't think it's a myth, tell us. But I kind of want to give you a chance too to dispel the myth that that the onboard intel in EVs is somehow wildly untrustworthy, and everyone who gets in an EV should be scared for their life. What do you think about that one?
Well, I mean, there's different levels of autonomy, and we're talking about ultimately, the top level where the car can fully drive itself as good as or better than a human being. I think it's going to take a while before we get there. I think the technology that's being used for autonomy is making cars safer. Cars now incorporate technology that prevents accidents, collision avoidance, lane changing, and things like that. That do make the cars safer. But this, I remember back in the decade prior to ours, a few years back, we were supposed to already have full autonomy. Everybody was going to have it. You know, here we are, it's 2021. We don't have it yet. And I don't think we're going to have it quite for a while. I think the technology still needs to mature more before we're super confident. There's lots of people working on it, of course. And it will be, I think we're going to need to maybe do potentially some infrastructure work where the actual roads are smart and talk to the cars. I think the cars are going to need to talk to each other. And we don't actually have that yet. And we need some sort of standards and things like that. And of course, the infrastructure and the cars. So, you know, this dream of the fully autonomous smart car, while I think it may be in the cards, we might have to wait, you know, maybe till the end of the decade before it really is robust enough for us to be able to trust.
Fact or lie number 3. What's holding back wider adoption of EVs is not battery technology, but charging solutions. And
Well,
as more charging capacity becomes available, more folks would be more and more inclined to buy an EV because battery technology is actually pretty darn good at this point. But if I can't do it quickly at home, or that would prove expensive, can I charge my car when I'm on the move and do it quickly and reliably? What do you think?
So yeah, we're going to need a lot more charging stations. I think there's don't quote me on this, maybe 100,000 gas stations in the country, something like that. We don't have anywhere near that many charging stations. And let's face it, you know, it's not just converting the gas station to an electric station, but you got to be able to provide power. I mean, if there's 7 or 8 cars charging at a charging station, that's a hell of a lot of current being pulled off of the grid. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work to do. On top of that, yeah, the batteries are pretty good, but guess what? They're still not that great. Okay, I can go charge my giant SUV. I have a big family, guys, and I can not charge, but top the tank off in about 5 minutes. Big tank, maybe like 26, 27 gallon tank, you know, like you might find in a Ford Expedition or a Nissan Armada, you know. So you're in and out of the gas station pretty quick. But now an electric vehicle to go to from, I don't know, 20% to like 80% charge, you might be there. You know, to top off an electric battery might take you 40 minutes, let's say. So, you know, that gas station, if it gets converted to electric charging, all of a sudden it's not big enough to accommodate necessarily all the traffic it normally does. So these are problems that need to get sorted out. And yeah, I think the charging technology, the speed of charge, deploying the chargers, supplying those charging locations with enough power to do that job is going to take a while. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of investment.
Ray, thanks for taking a few minutes to update everyone on the facts and lies in EVs. This is going to be a story worth following, and I don't know of anyone better to follow that story than you. Everybody watching, you should follow Ray at Technology Profits Daily and Technology Profits Confidential. Ray, thanks for your time.
Been a pleasure.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.